Welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of The Signal Caller. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Solo Lopez, of course, rocking his Golden State Warriors hat, of course. POR SBR is my Twitter handle, and Solo is the Solo Lopez, both on Twitter. So check us out there, and also other places. Instagram is my put on waivers _ podcast, so you can check me out there. How you doing today, Solo?
Good, man. Shout out Juju Watkins, man. Shout out Juju
Yeah,
Watkins.
well,
Terrible thing.
that was all right.
Feeling okay. Got out of a few spaces about some draft spaces, talking to some scouts today. Had some varying differences of opinion on the Jackson Dart versus the Drew Alar conversation. If Drew Alar had come into the draft this year and where he'd rank against not only the quarterbacks from this year, but where did Jackson Dart, Shadir Sanders, and Drew Alar rank if they had come out last year
Yeah.
and in that situation. So we are just getting on to that a little bit and having some good sports discussions today. Ready for the show.
Yeah, so we got tomorrow will be Jalen Richard days until the NFL draft, be number
Yes,
30.
sir.
Number
30,
30. Who can
three
forget
zero,
the third what was it? Was it
third and 26.
third and 26?
Yeah.
Draw play against the Chargers in that playing game. So that was
Or,
cool.
or his first carry ever as a professional, took it to the house 60 yards against the
He
Saints.
did, he did. He was hightailing on that one, boy.
Undrafted free agent. Shout out Jalen Richard, wherever you're at,
Yeah.
bud. We think about you.
Who picked him up? What GM had him?
That would be Reggie
Oh
McKenzie,
yeah,
one of the best
probably.
undrafted free
Yeah,
agent general managers I've ever seen.
and it's funny because Reggie might be the last. Reggie might be the last true GM we've had because every single. It seems like even now we'll see in this draft. But it seems like every time we get a new regime, it's the head coach running the show. So we'll
Yeah.
see if that goes. So we're gonna do a mock draft today, just the first round. 1.0 for the first time we did this. What's the first time we did this? So you might see our faces go away and come back on as far as the draft goes. So we all know the Tennessee Titans pick first. And I'll pick first. So I'll pick first. So I'll give you that will give you the Raiders pick, right? So I'll pick first, and I'll go with Cam Ward, quarterback of Miami. A little chalk there. I just think there's no way they miss out on Cam Ward.
Do you think that is a definitive thing now, based on the reports that we've seen and we've heard? That feels like that's the way they're going now, right?
That it's going that way. It's going
Yeah,
that way. And I don't see how they did nothing in the offseason to correct the quarterback position. So
yeah.
that's why I think it's for sure going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I just think he's the number one pick. I think he deserves it. We talked about it last year on Signal Call that he needed to stay one more year and blow it up. And I think he did. He blew it up and something and more than that. If he had a
Yeah.
better defensive unit, he probably was a play away from being in the college football playoff. Which I think he and Jackson Dart would have been fun to see them in the playoff.
Yeah.
With Syracuse and Ole Miss.
100%.
So you have the second pick in the draft. You have the Browns. The Browns
Yes.
team
So,
needs. The team
mm,
needs are quarterback, wide receiver, offensive tackle, running back, and DT.
so I'm gonna be a little controversial here. I am not gonna take a quarterback here. I'm not gonna take Shadur. I think that because of the money situation in Cleveland and how much money they owe Watson, and I know he's hurt, and I know there's a chance he might not play again. I just think there's so much money wrapped up into Deshaun Watson that I think that they're gonna have to take BTA here, and they're gonna pair Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett, who they just re-signed, and that's where I'm gonna go. I've stuck with that for a while now. I'm going to go ahead and stick with it now. Abdul Carter to the Browns. You put a generator, what a lot of people consider a generational pass rusher opposite one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, if not the best, in Myles Garrett, who they kept for an inordinate amount of money after he requested for a trade. You strengthen the defense, you strengthen the team top to bottom, and then worry about the quarterback situation when you can, because there's so much money wrapped up in Watson.
Yeah, so here we go. We have the New York Giants here. So Abdul Carter goes to the Browns. The New York Giants will select because that's my pick right now with the Giants. I don't see a way around
Yeah.
Shador.
Yep.
I don't see how you kind of quote unquote weasel your way out of it.
Yeah.
Even if this is a situation where they're drafting their future quarterback for somebody else, I think they got to take Shador Sanders here at 3.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's my definitive top three right now. I think that's what's going to go one, two, three. New England needs playmakers everywhere. They need an inflection of talent. They spend a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball. I think they go dynamic here, take dynamic best player available. They could use both sides of the ball. They have a stellar corner right now in Christian Gonzalez, but you can put Travis Hunter on that other side with them, as well as let him play the majority of the offensive snaps at wide receiver, which they need for young Drake May. And they're going Travis Hunter.
And hey, Travis, you're gonna love Boston. So Travis Hunter goes to New England there. So now you have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. Defensive tackle, tight end, cornerback, offensive tackle, and wide receiver. I this is you can go they can go so many different ways here.
Yeah.
I think just for me, if I was running it, I would try to do my best to go get probably a defensive. I mean, a more offensive line help in the rest of the draft. Some inside help, some guard help, stuff like that. But I'm going to probably go to Ted McMillan here because I really want to do what I really want to do here. If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, is pair him with Brian Thomas Jr. Year one, year two wide receivers to go along with Trevor Lawrence, and I think Ted McMillan will fit what's going on there. You saw what their head coach did as a play caller in Tampa Bay with a couple good receivers. So
Yeah. Oh man, that makes this pick harder because this is where a lot of people are mocking him to go now.
yeah,
Because I was going to take Tet if you hadn't.
yeah,
I would take Tet McMillan over Ashton Jeanty, just from the nature of
yes,
pairing a pass catcher with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. Although I'm a huge fan of the Jeanty pick, I would have went Tet. However, with Jacksonville taking Tet McMillan in front of me, I don't think there's any way around it now. With, like you said earlier, I'm a gigantic fan of Ashton Jeanty. I think he's bust proof. I think he fits anywhere in any system. I think he's an excellent teammate, an excellent personality, character guy, good pass blocker, good hands. I think he's definitively the best running back in this draft, in one of the deepest, if not the deepest position in the draft. But your fall off from here to taking a guy at 39, if you wanted a running back there, with arguably the worst running back room in the NFL, is too big for me to pass up on who I think is a sure thing. So I'm going Ashton Jeanty, 6th pick, Raiders.
It's funny because like the Raiders have a lot of worst as far as like linebacker core,
Linebacker room,
core.
yeah.
You could say secondary as
Arguably,
well.
the cornerback room is one of the worst in the pro football.
Yes, yes. So for the Jets, I don't believe that the Jets are going to go all in the pool, jump in the pool with, despite the money, with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So while this is going to be something that Jets fans probably don't want to hear, I will say this: at the very least, the Jets have taken shots at quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're taking continuous shots at quarterback. So I'm gonna go.
Are you gonna pull the trigger here?
I'm gonna pull the trigger here, and I'm gonna go with Jackson Dart
Wow.
to the New York Football Jets to be their next quarterback, the future quarterback here. Because I think if if he's just decent, Justin Fields, and the head coach is Aaron Glenn is anything, then they're not going to be in the top 10 again. So
Yeah.
it's possible. That division isn't great besides Buffalo, so we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna go Jackson Dart here.
Man, I can hear the fans right now.
The whistling and the crying, and everybody going crazy. I can see it.
Yeah.
But listen,
Rough.
if you somebody's gonna have to somebody's gonna pull the trigger on Jackson Dart. He's not gonna go
Yeah.
44th in this draft. So
Yeah.
I just did it with the Jets because they need a quarterback.
So I am a big fan of Dave Canales. I thought he had some good moments with Bryce Young last year, towards the end of the year. Benching Bryce Young was the right move. Set him down, let him come back, let him regain his confidence in your system a little bit. I think that they spent a ton of money on the offensive line last year, but that being said, I don't think they anticipated Will Campbell being here. And I think that if they can move him either inside or outside to solidify that line, you're going to protect your franchise quarterback. And I'm going to go Will Campbell
Will Campbell. Will
for the
Campbell.
for the Panthers.
Will Campbell. Will Campbell. Will Campbell for the Panthers. Okay. All right. And the Saints. Saints are on the board. Derek Carr's in the building. Let's go. Maybe not. But I do think they can go a lot of different ways here. I'm not, I think they can. It's let me see. What could they really use here? I think that they're gonna probably I'm gonna have them go with somebody who was just the most consistent, one of the most consistent players in the draft. Um, so I'm gonna go with Mason Graham here.
Okay.
Mason Graham is a Saint. Goes on that defensive line. Solid. I think he's the most. He and Genty are like really consistent. They don't. They're always going to be making plays for your football
Yeah.
team. So I'm gonna go Mason Graham here. It's a hard choice because they can go any direction. So I had to take a pause to look at it. But I'm gonna go with Mason Graham.
So the Bears spent a lot of money and a lot of assets trading for their offensive line. I get that situation. I think that they've done the right stuff to try to protect Caleb Williams. They have offensive skill position players. So now what they can do is they can focus on the other side of the ball. And I think Jalen Walker is a perfect Chicago Bears pick. And I think this is where he goes at 10.
Jalen Walker. That's a good pick. Dennis Allen will like him. Like Dennis Allen you get Dennis Allen as a DC. That's not bad. Like I thought Ben Johnson did a really good choice there. So we'll go Jalen Walker here.
Yeah.
And my favorite team, my second favorite team. Oh, my headphone came out. Hold on. I got so excited. My second favorite team in football, the San Francisco 49ers.
How dare you?
I hate them.
How dare you?
I literally hate them more than I hate the Chiefs. And
Me too.
I really do. I can't stand that. And
here's the thing. I posted this a couple years ago about the Chiefs versus the Niners situation where they're playing in Allegiant Stadium. People didn't understand why I would never, under any circumstance, ever want the Niners to win in our stadium a Super Bowl, and how our interaction with Niner fans have shaped our hatred for that football team. And a lot of people just don't understand that if you're not from the Bay, or if you're not from California or in that area, or you don't interact with Niner fans on a daily basis on the regular when it comes to the Raiders and the Niners situation, you won't understand.
You don't understand at all. That's pretty gross. All right. Niners here. So what they want to do here. So Niners can do a lot of different things here. They did have a lot of movement on their team. I think that when the Niners are lucky because when they get bad, they almost get a reprieve because they get a high draft pick. They get a high draft pick and they do something decent with it. I think I think a guy who would probably fit in. I forgot the name of his coach. I forgot the name of the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator now. I think they go Will Johnson here. He's one of the best players left in this draft. But I go Will Johnson to the 49ers here.
They'd have to be ecstatic to get him at 11.
Yes, I think so too.
That's a good move. I think they'd be really, really happy to get him. So I'm gonna go a little higher than what a lot of people think in this situation, but I think this is the second best wide receiver in the draft. I think he fits with Dallas' system. I think he's got explosive ability. I think they like Ohio State players in Dallas, and I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka.
Really? All right. That's your boy. You like him.
It's my boy.
Over Burden and
over Golden.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Over Trey Harris, over these guys. I think Emeka is showed enough on tape. His tangible ability, his size, his speed, his route running ability, where I think he can play inside, outside. I like the Egbuka fitting inside, then slotting in opposite CeeDee Lamb. Jerry Jones has turned into a little bit of Al Davis in his later years. He likes the big play. He likes the big flash, the big shiny. And I think they go wide receiver here.
So I like that move there. Let's see here. Hold on a second. All right. And then we have the Miami Dolphins here. Hmm. So the Dolphins, we still have a left tackle on the board. We still have or a tackle, we have offensive lineman on the board. We have some defensive help on the board. Could a team coached by Mike McDaniel resist the speed? Could he resist adding a guy like Matthew Golden on his
Mm,
roster right here?
tough.
So with him being available, so I think they go Matthew. I'm gonna go Matthew Golden here. They have other needs.
Back to back wideouts, huh?
They have other needs, but I mean, this is not a spot for a guard. Not, I mean, a DT, maybe a DT. Offensive tackle. Let me see. Well, before I make that pick, let me go with offensive tackle. You know what? I'm gonna go conservative here, and I'm gonna say they're gonna try to protect Tua, and they'll get
Membu?
Membu from Missouri.
Okay.
I go Membu, but it's gonna be a hard. That's a hard conversation for them to have because you could
Yeah.
almost. I mean, if you could almost have almost an heir apparent to, if he works out, an heir apparent to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. That's interesting. Just adding loads of speed into that team that's
That
already one of the
yeah.
fastest.
But
It's a
can they,
smart move, man.
but they can't win in the cold, so they got to
Yeah.
offensive lineman who played in the cold might actually help them a little bit better.
It definitely tracks
Yeah.
with Miami. So um yeah, so that would have been interesting if Golden was there. I mean, that would have been fun. So Indianapolis has pass catchers. They're unsure of their quarterback situation. Um, but I think the right move here for them because they have a pretty well put together offense, but they don't necessarily have a tight end that they can believe in. So I'm going to go Tyler Warren from Penn State here. They get the best guy at the position, and they're going to move forward, solidifying them for either Daniel
Well, he
Jones or Anthony
has to.
Richardson to
Well,
help a young developing quarterback with a healthy pass catcher, a safety blanket, a pacifier, if you will, in that offensive system for them to be able to help their quarterbacks, whoever the guy may be, um, to cut down on the turnovers, be more accurate, and not have as much pressure finding a wide receiver in that offense.
yeah. So Tyler Warren, and he has to wear the 44 like Dallas Clark, though. He has to.
No,
I used to love Dallas Clark, boy. I used to love some
yeah,
Dallas Clark back in the day. All right, so
his arm swag was the best.
his arm
The
swag.
bands, the wristbands, and then he had the finger tape. Come on, bro.
So
The
do
Tim
we
Brown he had working.
exactly? So we do. So do we have enough firepower with Michael Penix in Arizona? Sorry, in Atlanta. I think
Is
we
there
do.
ever enough?
Hey, you never have enough, right?
Because if you're thinking
Injuries.
Golden here, I am ecstatic
Yes,
about
I.
that.
I mean, it's gonna be hard. Like they have a seat. So here, so the biggest need is corner. So like, do they have? Is there a corner here that I can take? It's not really a corner. They could take John Day Barrett.
I mean, Barron would be the only one, and maybe Trey Amos, but
Yeah.
that might. I mean, Barron. I don't see how Amos gets ahead of Barron. So if there's a corner in this situation, it would be hard. And if that was their direct target, I'm just not so sure what it's going to be for that team. They've got a lot of good there, so who knows?
So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go BPA. I'm gonna go with a guy who I really like a lot. Who I think is one of the best players in the draft period, as Malachi Starks. The Georgia kid gets to stay home.
Yes, that is
Um,
a great pick.
I think he's gonna be fantastic there. So hopefully that happens. I could see this would be great for us. This would be great for like Atlanta was predicted to do defense last year,
Mhm.
but then they said, okay,
Now they have Bates and Simmons there still, right?
Bates and Simmons. I don't know if they have Bates and Simmons
Jesse
still.
Bates and Justin Simmons, I think, are still there. However, one of those guys, I don't know if they re-signed both of
They
them
probably could. Let me just double check. Let me just check the roster real quick.
because that would make a lot of sense in the on the flip side.
Because safety is still one of their needs. So safety is still listed as one of their needs.
Yeah,
So let me just double check where that junk is. Where we at here with Atlanta? Um, real quick. I thought I checked them before, but let me just go real quick. Falcons. Falcons. Internet don't fail me. So
yeah, they're both still on the team.
Both still on the team.
Yep.
So
But I don't think their contracts. I think Simmons is the one whose contract is on a 1 year deal.
they got
Loading up on young talent, man. That's the
safety.
way to do it.
They got Fuller safeties. Well, they got Jordan Fuller and Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
So let me rethink that. Let's look at Terrell on one side, Hughes on the other side. Who was in the middle for them? They did lose their defensive tackle. They did lose some of that. So let me go. Let me switch it up then. Switch it up. I do think Starks will still work, but let me go. I don't know if I have a corner. I don't have a corner here. They'll take Barron. They'll take Barron.
I'll take Barron.
They'll take Barron. They'll take Barron. They pick Barron. They'll take Barron. They'll take Barron. So
So
we do that.
I think that the Cardinals take Starks. I was going to take him right after that with the Cardinals when I was scouting ahead of time.
Okay, let's go to Starks. Malachi Starks goes to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. So now
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, let me just look at the depth chart really quick. Just a quick like overview of that real quick. I think I know what I want to do here because Al Golden, the new defensive coordinator, needs defense.
Yes.
You can't be asking Mr. Burrow to score 45 points a game. I mean, as good as he is, god damn it. He could definitely use some help there. So Hendrickson needs some help. Um, is there an edge I can put here along with Henderson?
There's
So
two, in my
there's
opinion.
two.
Actually, there's three.
So I would go with if I'm gonna pick one of these edges here, I'm gonna go the kid from Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael
He's one of them.
Williams.
Mikael
He's one of
Williams.
them.
Yeah.
So I got him going to. So Georgia goes back to back here. Starks and then Williams, and now we have the Seahawks on the board.
So Matthew Golden hasn't been picked. It hasn't been picked, right?
Matthew Golden is available, and it makes
That's the
sense.
pick.
And it makes sense. It's funny because he's the 18th ranked player in this big board, and
Hmm.
he's 18th going 18th there. The young receiver out there right now from Ohio State makes
Yep.
sense. So we put him there, and now we have the Buccaneers there. So the Bucks. Everybody needs a corner. It seems like so. Everybody has the first need of corner. I'm gonna so here's what I'm gonna do. Everybody has not I did not do the I did not do the do a get a chance to do a breakdown of Siobhan Ravel, but I'm gonna give they need a corner. I'm gonna give them I'm gonna give them that player.
You're gonna give them Ravel from
I'm gonna
East
get
East Carolina.
It's Carolina. I think I
Okay.
just look at them yet, but I'm gonna give them a because they do need a corner. So I give them a corner. And now, hey, listen, you feel free to give the Broncos Kenny Bennett, who was the 662 ranked player in the
I,
draft.
I thought about it, but because we're in this situation and I have to play by the rules,
Yes,
there's no other player that makes more sense here than Amari Hampton, unfortunately for us.
that is painful.
It's painful because now they have Hampton, Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, and they have Sean Payton as their caller. It just makes that too much sense for them to take him. He's the next great Denver running back. He's perfect for that team. He's perfect for that offense. He's perfect for that quarterback. I hate it, but it's the most perfect pick in this situation. So
So I'm gonna go on the premise that this dude is going to be the head. This dude's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers. Um,
Rogers,
Rogers. So eventually it'll just end up happening. Um, so I think they're set at wide receiver. I don't know if they want to do anything with the other receiver. I mean, it seems like they want to trade him. So if they want to trade the
Pickens.
Pickens, then it makes sense. I'm gonna go the premise that they want to try to get rid of Pickens, so I'm gonna go Luther Burden here. at wide
Oh
receiver.
boy, is that a Pittsburgh pick or not?
Yeah, so I'm going
What
Pittsburgh, Luther Burden, Luther Burden. I mean, just the colors are the same.
great.
So yeah, so I'm gonna do the burden there because I think they want to move on from I think they want to move on. And I know they have a receiver from Michigan from last year. Whose name is escaping me. Who didn't play much last year.
From Michigan, it's
The,
the third rounder, isn't it?
I forgot his name, but
I know who you're talking about.
yeah. So he's there, but I think they want to just typical Pittsburgh. They always do a good job drafting receivers. So on to the Chargers.
All right. So, Chargers have been reformulating their offense. They've been reformulating their offensive line, bringing in some players. They brought back Mike Williams, but in this situation, I think that this is the third running back that goes in the first round. This is the last one that goes, in my opinion, in the first round, and I'm going to go Caleb Johnson. I think Caleb Johnson is an absolute perfect Jim Harbaugh pick. He fits that offense. He's a big, bruising, physical back that you want. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put him there. I think their running back room is old. It's brittle. They still get functionality out of it, but they like the running back by committee. But I think Caleb Johnson is the guy that takes over.
So can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
Did you ever think about Loveland or Fanning in this spot?
I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought about Loveland previously for the Chargers there, but I think that the running back position is so like I still don't think they did enough to bring into that situation
Okay.
for
So
them. And I
okay.
think with a player like that, um, with a player like that that's there that fits their style so perfectly, I think it's easier for Harbaugh to get the production out of a running back to be impactful on day one than it is for him to have a tight end to do the same, in my opinion.
Okay. So we have the Green Bay Packers on the clock, and right now I'm gonna go Shamir Stewart. He is the highest edge available right
Yeah,
now.
that's perfect.
They need an edge. It makes sense. I kind of like the kid from Boston College and Mike Green as well, but I'm gonna go Shamir Stewart here, and then you can go on to the Vikings.
So I'm sorry, you picked Stewart, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. It's a great pick.
So
Um,
the Vikings need safety, corner, guard, edge, and running back.
so this is pretty easy for me. I think the Vikings, I think KOC really loves offensive line. I think you have a young quarterback coming in. Your quarterback situation's in flux right now with Sam Darnold out. So
Yeah.
if you want to bring the young quarterback in, or that you're going to have to solidify all this, and I'm going to go Tyler Booker from Alabama.
Tyler Booker from Alabama. Boom. And then
This
we
should be a pretty
have
easy one here.
offensive. I mean, geez. Well, they made a lot of moves with offensive line, so I'm just gonna give him the best. I'm gonna give him Grave Zabel immediately,
Nice.
just because, right? Because he can go from guard to see when Zabel went to the Senior Bowl, he played a tackle pretty well too. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
a tackle in the league, but he's the highest rated offensive guard available. I know Kelvin Banks is there too. I just kind of like. I mean, I just trust. I trust Zabel a little bit more, even though you can get guards later on. Let me just get the best guard available. And because like I don't, I'm not sure if I trust at Banks at Banks right now, and then maybe at 46 I can do something to get
Yeah.
um
So you had Zabel going.
I have Zabel going right now.
So this is really tough for me because I genuinely believe that Kelvin Banks should go here in this. I think it'd be a steal. However, they have Adams, they have Puka, they have Kyron Williams, they have Blake Corum,
Mhm.
but their tight end spot needs some help. I
Yeah.
think because the idea that they were trying to trade up to get Brock Bowers last year, it makes sense to go with an absolute freak in Colston Loveland, a guy that's perfect for Sean McVay's offense to be able to do that. He can run, he can block, he can pass catch, he can run block. He can do everything that they need. Now, Kelvin Banks should be the pick here because it's a steal, what seems like a guy that's falling in our first round.
Yeah.
But I think for what they need and what makes their offense and what makes that team go more than anything else, is to have quality safety blankets, quality pass catchers, quality impact players on offense for Matt Stafford and Sean McVay to work. So I'm going Loveland.
Loveland. Interesting. So let's go Loveland. All right. And then now we have the Ravens on the clock. So Ravens looking for a guard, looking for a corner. Let's see here. Do I have a corner for this team? I am gonna run to the store. Let's see here. Some of the safeties are falling. I'm gonna roll with Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame at corner. And for the Ravens here, because
For the Ravens?
the Ravens they need a corner. So I'm gonna give them a corner here.
Okay.
Then we have the Lions up next.
So I think there's a player in here that upgraded his stock dramatically from the combine. He is our Jason Pierre-Paul workout warrior. He had a good year last year at Marshall, but he also had an unbelievable combine. Looks like he's got all the right stuff that you need for a player like that. He's gritty, he's tough, and with Aiden Hutchinson coming back off a devastating injury, I think it's going to be smart to add more to that defensive line. And I'm going Mike Green, which seems like an absolutely perfect Dan Campbell pick.
Oh, all right. Washington. They need an edge, they need a corner, safety, and then a linebacker or wide receiver. So let's go. Let's see, go all different ways here. I'm gonna check out that one. No, so I we have not. I don't think we have a linebacker off the board yet.
We don't.
We do not have a
Campbell's
linebacker
right.
off the board, and I think it's gonna continue to not have a linebacker on the board because I think I'm gonna go with James Pierce Jr.
Tennessee,
From
baby.
Tennessee, So yeah, so we're still waiting for that part of it too. So now you got the Bills, new contract for Josh Allen, cornerback, defensive tackle, linebacker, edge, and wide receiver.
So I know that this is not a need for them, but the idea that Kelvin Banks is still here,
Yeah,
despite him following all the way to the back end, I don't think is necessarily a thing where that should happen. I think they have Deion Dawkins, they have Spencer Brown, so they have guys there. However, I think that this can be their next guy to usher in to have on a rookie contract in case Deion Dawkins or Spencer, he can be your swing tackle when until he takes over for one of those guys, or he's good enough to be a day one starter for them. I'm gonna let the slip and the fall down the first round stops here. Kelvin Banks goes to the Bills, and I think it's a steal for them at this pick.
and that was great because I didn't want him to go. I didn't want any offensive lineman to go to the Chiefs.
Kansas City, yeah.
So the Chiefs they need a defensive tackle, and this is gonna be tough because they need a defensive tackle and they need a edge of offensive guard, a tackle, and then a safety. So let's see here. So this is going to be the part where I think it's going to be painful for me to make this pick because I love this player. I think he'd be. I think he's gonna be. I think he'd be in the same line as Chris Jones. I think Derek Harmon out of Oregon would be just a fantastic pick.
Mm, yeah,
For the Chiefs here, they really can't. The Chiefs looking for defensive tackle. They can just stay where they are because they're going to get a really talented guy. No
yeah.
question about it. So I think Derek Harmon goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, and now you get the world champs.
The world champs easily. They take BPA. They need a linebacker. They need a quick. They need an outstanding on-ball player.
So they
They need
got
a guy who can read and react. They need a
ah,
explosive player. They need a guy who can come in and be a long-standing term player. It's not a Georgia player anymore. It's an Alabama player. We're going Jihad Campbell for the world champs.
world champs. So here we go. There we go. All right, and then where the hell did my thing go? Okay, well we saw it, so now I gotta my draft didn't. Oh, the whole draft. Okay, good. Whew. For a second, I thought we lost all results. I was gonna get. I was gonna get pissed off. All right. So cool, folks. That's pretty much that. We wanted to get a mock draft in for you. Kind of get a feel for it. It's actually pretty cool to always do the alternate picks.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fun.
it's fun. But like I said, like obviously, it's some of it's guesswork. I think outside the top three, the top six, I think I don't know what the Raiders are going to do at six. That's a turning point, especially if McMillan is gone, because I think that would be a guy who I would kind of target because the running back room is so much is so much
Yeah,
is so abundant in this draft. I also think that Jackson Dart. I had a Jets go and get Jackson Dart. I know Jets fans are going to hate me for it, but listen, take your shots at quarterback. Take it from a team that never does it. Take your shots at quarterback because all it takes is for you to hit on one, and then you're good
yeah.
to go. As far
You
as
want to do
that
a quick
goes.
recap?
Quick recap. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think you have it. Let me just see if I can just let me just send it to you real quick. If you need to look at the
No,
whole
I got the whole thing here.
oh thing, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do a quick recap before we head out?
Yeah. So first 10 picks, Tennessee took Cameron Ward. Cam Ward, obviously best quarterback in this draft. Browns took Abdul Carter. Then we had the Giants taking Shooter Sanders. Travis Hunter goes to the Patriots. Ted McMillan goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Our Raiders, our beloved Raiders, take Ashton Jeanty and solidify their running game. At seventh pick, they got the Jets go Jackson Dart. Now they have Justin Fields and Jackson Dart, two first round picks, to help find this quarterback position. I took Will Campbell as a Carolina Panther to help protect Bryce Young. They can move him inside, outside, wherever they feel like most comfortable with it. I think Dave Canales is good with offensive linemen. Mason Graham goes to the Saints, which seems like an absolutely Saints pick for Mickey Loomis. And to round out the top 10, Jalen Walker goes and falls to the Bears. They solidify their front seven with an outstanding pass rusher, an outstanding linebacker slash tweener that they can implement. They give Dennis Allen a weapon on that front seven that they can utilize. You can go ahead and take the next 10 if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. So we got Jalen Walker to the Bears, Will Johnson to the 49ers, and Mecca Mbuka to the Cowboys, Membu to the Dolphins, Tyler Warren goes to the Charger. I'm sorry, the Colts. Jahad Barron goes to the Falcons. Malachi Starks is a Cardinal. Mikael Williams Edge goes to the Bengals. Matthew Golden goes into a perfect spot here with the Seahawks. Revel goes to the Bucks, and then Amaro Hampton is going to be a nightmare in the AFC West.
Yes, he is in that one. We're going to round out the last 12 here. Luther Burden goes to Pittsburgh. We have our third and final running back that goes to the Chargers here, and Caleb Johnson from Iowa. We love him very much. Shamar Stewart falls all the way to the Packers. I feel like that's a steal for them. That's an awesome pick. Tyler Booker, the first legitimate, like true inside offensive lineman who's going to play guard right there, goes to Minnesota. We go back to back with the inside versatile offensive lineman with Gray Zabel going to the Texans. Shout out to North Dakota State. Colston Loveland goes to the Rams. They get their tight end finally after they worked hard to try to get Brock Bowers last year. Ben Morrison from Notre Dame goes to the Ravens. It feels like a Ravens pick. They're always taking defensive backs that pan out for them. Mike Green, the workout warrior from the combine, goes to the Detroit Lions. James Pierce, another workout warrior, makes his way into the first round, going to the Washington Commanders, which is a great pick. Kelvin Banks, the slip finally stops. He falls all the way to the Bills, which is one of the best teams in the NFL, protecting one of the quarterbacks in the NFL and the reigning MVP, and Josh Allen. Derek Harmon, which is tough because he's from Oregon and we love him and we don't want him to see him to go to a disgusting team like Kansas City, but they went. And then finally, the world champs, who always seem to get away with taking best player available no matter what, takes the best linebacker on the board at Jihad Campbell from Alabama. They add him to the front seven. That includes the recently re-signed Zach Bound, who's an All-Pro last year. Obviously, we have the two interior defensive linemen. You have Josh Sweat. You have all kinds of guys that are there in terms of that front seven to make his job a lot easier. And I think he's going to be very good.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's it. That's it. We'll probably sneak one more in here, and I think we can go. I think next time we do one, we'll go a little deeper. Maybe go to the fourth round,
Yes, sir.
and take it from there. So, have some fun with it. Whatever, and leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think. All right, folks. See you next time on the Signal Caller. Take care, please.